Is this thing on? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Well, looks like the mic's working. Yep. Got a mic. Oh, yeah. I guess we need a camera too, don't we? Okay, let's see. Can we find a camera? Here's a camera. There we go. How about that? How about that? Hey, Ron. Hey, Frank. Hey, Dave. Hey, Kenny. T3 True. Welcome. Glad to have you. Let's see what else we got here. Rich is here. Mike, who? I met Dave. And let's see. Let's look over in Streaming Idiots. Robert Graff asking, what's the show all about? Well, it's it's about live streaming, Robert. Today we're talking about it will be my biting analysis of the live streaming industry. I don't want to get into too much because I don't want to give away the good stuff too soon. But if you've got a minute to watch, it'll be fun. If not, you can come back and watch it later at your leisure. It really delights me to know that Tim wakes up on Thursday morning. In this case, he'll be in Japan, so who knows what time it'll be there. He might even be watching live. But he wakes up on Thursday morning, and when he has his Cheerios, he watches the Streaming Idiots show. Yeah, I'm loving it. Okay, let's see. T3 True Designs. Can vMix do these countdowns? Well, I can't. Sam is here. Sam, are you getting washed away? Holy cow, man. You need to go up to North Mississippi because South Mississippi, I guess it's central. All right, let's see. Doing a couple of interesting things today that are different. Hey, Peter, welcome. Glad you're here. And I want to see if it makes a difference, because if it doesn't make a difference, there's no sense in doing it. I mean, we can do things because they're sexy and cool and nerdy and geeky and stuff, but if it doesn't really make a difference, why go to all the trouble? Except maybe say you did, but that's not worth much. We'll get to that in just a second, though. We'll get to that in just a second. Let's see. We are going to Facebook. And we are going to the Facebook Streaming Idiots group, which of course you can't monitor with vMix Social because of permissions, privacy concerns. The Facebook Eastern Shore Broadcasting page, which we can do, so I can see any comments from that page. And then we're going to YouTube, and we are going 1080p everywhere. A little higher bit rate to YouTube than to Facebook, because I think it's kind of our long-term archive, so we want it to look the best. Rich says that he found out last weekend that a cellular signal can go at least 1 foot underwater to live stream. I hope you didn't find that out the hard way. Like, whoops, there goes my phone and it's live streaming, and it's still, oh no, it stopped live streaming. Oh my goodness. I hope it was intentional. I hope it was in a plastic bag, or maybe 2 plastic bags. But Rich was in Hawaii last week, so there's no sympathy for him. We're almost out of lemonade. Which is really bad news. Tim's here. Tim's doing a live production of Fort Walton next week. Not quite your neighborhood. Well, pretty close. That's RJ's neighborhood. Ron says Tom decided not to do the football thing. I get that. It was, and you never know what's going to pay off for you in terms of contacts and, kind of seeding the ground, as it were, to throw your bread on the waters, that kind of thing. You just, you pick what makes sense, and you don't do the other stuff. Yeah. Marie is here. Welcome. How's your knee? Hope it's on the mend. I'm excited that a friend of mine, actually my daughter-in-law's grandfather, he had a procedure yesterday where he got some plasma, I think it's what it's called, injected into his knee to help him with the lost cartilage there. So we'll see how that works. Hello, Jan. And Taekwondo Replays, welcome again. The knee is better, she says. Are you still on crutches? Is it still wrapped? Are you jogging? Are you skiing? Oh, there's RJ. RJ's like, Tim, what are you doing in Fort Walton Beach? Because that's RJ's home turf. Yeah. Oh, RJ, by the way, I found out, you remember when we were playing with that Bird Dog PTZ keyboard, and we were doing the color shading, and the R and the blue, the R and the B, the red and the blue knobs appeared to be making changes on the keyboard itself. Hey, Tommy, but not in the camera. Apparently, once you make those changes and then you reset it, you have to reset the camera for those to take place. Don't know that that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, obviously, you would want to see what you were doing so you would know. But Andrew from Australia did, with Mind IT, did a nice video on the keyboard. I guess about what? No, it was probably just last week. And so my cam is auto-focusing. I hate when that happens. Let's see if we can't fix that. Where is that camera? Camera auto-focusing. Because we should be able to turn that off. Brightness, camera control, zoom, focus, auto. There we go. So let's see if that does it. Did that do it? Did that do it? And we'll adjust our chroma key while we're here. There we go. I think that may have done it. Firestorm Records says, I'll jump over from Facebook. Yeah, I think if you go to the YouTube feed, which is on our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, that'll be the best quality. Been off crutches for 4 weeks. Wow, that's great. And off and without a brace for 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's not me, Tommy. It's not the camera, it's me. I'm just always out of focus. And Vital, welcome. Glad to have you. We spoke on the phone last week. That was a treat. Always nice to speak to you guys because, I don't ever get to hear your voice. You get to hear me, but, what good is that? Let's see, where's the pre-show thing? We need to adjust this this one camera thingy just up a little bit. There we go. That looks a little better. There we go. Daniel's here. All right, welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you made it. I want to ask Dave. Dave, does this look familiar? Whoa. Oh, it's chroma keys, so you can't see you can't see some of the keys. But Dave sent me this really neat, it's kind of a vintage tab from a company called Mobile Demand. It's an X Tablet Flex 10, so it's a 10-inch tab. Originally it was set with Windows 8, and I think it's running Windows 10 now. But it's been set up with the vMix panel builder. And so with the panel builder, this is my X Keys keyboard. And again, it's hard to see. Let me see if I can get an image for you guys that doesn't have the chroma key in it. Let's try this one. There we go. And so it's just got the reflection. And so that's actually my X Keys. Dave took a copy of, one of these times where I was showing off my X Keys. And so let's see if we can hold both of them up at the same time without dropping either one of them. And so he made a copy of it, complete with the banana keys at the top. And so I just need to go in and populate this with my shortcuts, and away we go. Thanks, Dave. That's going to be fun. I like those kind of projects. They're kind of cool. All right, let's see. Marie says, only rehab and pain are left. Oh, bless you. Bless you. Well, my prayer is that the rehab goes smoothly and the pain goes away. Wixton's here. He's late. What did he miss? He hadn't missed anything. It's Neil. Hello, Neil. Glad to hear. If, as you guys may have recalled, Neil with River of Life Church was the winner of the big Easter church streaming PC giveaway last year. So, Neil, we need to get you on this show and get an update on what you guys are doing. Vista Church, that's Dean. Welcome. Glad to have you, Dean. Curious Streamer, it's Tommy Willis using his new vlog channel name. Whoa. Marie says those crutches were more hassle than help. They got in the way all the time, and it takes a lot of coordination to walk with them. But yeah, your guns really got what would you call it? Buff. Yeah. Dave said you could do a screen cap. Yeah, I could do a screen cap. Ron said it was pretty busy up in Montgomery broadcasting. 17 playoff games in one day. 5 in one day and 6 on the last day. Ron, that's the way you get it, man. And make sure you meet as many people while you're doing it. Yep. And Vital says you missed everything. Oh, he's talking to Wixton. Okay, there you go. And Tommy says, when my daughter broke her leg, she could not go up or downstairs. Huh. Well, I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to, because I would say something stupid. You'll say like, what's new, huh? Hello, Hassan. Hassan's over in the Streaming Idiots group on Facebook, which we won't be able to monitor your comments during the show. So either come to the Streaming Idiots, either come to easternshorebroadcasting.com for the show, or go to the Facebook page, Eastern Shore Broadcasting, and that'll do it. So yeah, today is going to be an interesting little show, and we want to see as much of it as we can, don't we? Yeah, I think we do. So if you're watching on Streaming Idiots Facebook, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com. And the chat is on the live streaming page, and as is the video. So there you go. Marie says, I don't need no guns. Only thing they're good for was securing a seat on the bus. I get it. I've never broken anything or hurt anything that required crutches. No, I take that back. I did sprain my ankle one time. I was on crutches for a couple days. That was no fun. No fun at all. Yeah, I'm sure a broken leg would have been a lot more trouble. And just no fun. I mean, you get that cast on there, and it's summertime, and your leg sweats, and then it itches. Oh, no fun. Okay, let's see. Let's get ready to move over to the set. We're live streaming today 3 different streams. One to YouTube, which is what are the stats on our streams today? YouTube is 1080p, 6 megabits per second. And then the 2 from Facebook are 1080p, 3 megabits per second each. So that's a total of 12 megabits per second. Our tested internet speed today is 20. So we're using exactly 60% of our tested internet speed. So that would be the rule of thumb if it were. We want to have, some guidelines to go by. Todd is here. Welcome. And Conan Patrick is here from Belgium. Oh, that's cool. Hassan, there he is. Okay, he's there. Welcome. And this was also her first time on crutches. No, but it does good things for the arms. Or actually the quads more than anything else. But that's a story for a different day. So we're live streaming using 12 of our 20 megabits upload speed. And I tested it today just to make sure. Because a lot of times they'll tell you the upload speed is something when really it's, tested, it might be 80% of that. And you look into the details on what their guarantees are, and they may only guarantee 80%. We're using 50 inputs in vMix. We're probably not using all of them, but they're just ones that, you know, like all my vMix calls that I like to use. I like to keep the same number from week to week. So that's why I have so many left over. And this is the new PC that finally decided, you know, to retire the old PC and to start again. So this is an i7-8700. I guess it's a hex core. Boy, remember when those suckers were just, you know, way out of sight? Goodness gracious. And it's 16 gigs of RAM and a solid state drive is a main drive. And then I don't remember if I think it's just a hard drive, 7,200 RPM hard drive for the recording. But total CPU right now with 3 streams open is 34%. Oh, and we're doing a 1080p 60 production today. So this webcam is not 60, this is 30, but when we get over to the set, the PTZ Optics PTZ cam, I like the 12X one for the studio. It's just the right amount of lens. Actually, it's more than you need, but it's nice to be able to position it as one person to get in my spot and position it just right. Anyway, we've got that set on 1080p 60. So I'm interested to see if it smooths things out, or, you know, like I said earlier, is it a feature that doesn't have a benefit? If it doesn't have a benefit, don't do it. So, but I wanted to test and see how this PC was going to do with 60 frames a second, especially on the recording side. The render time in vMix is, you know, 6 to 10 milliseconds. So I think we're okay. When you see that start creeping up, you know, 20, 30, 40, 60, 100, that's when you know you have an issue right now. It's time to start the show. Enough of this chit chat. Dean asks, are you the only internet user right now? Yes, I am the only one. I have the whole 20 megs to myself. Vital said, they promise a lot out here and guarantee nothing. Oh, I bet they have a guarantee somewhere. Rich wants to know, has anybody seen an SSD drive go bad or deteriorate? Rich, are you putting it in water? Like your cell phone? Uh-huh. Well, we'll get to that. All right, well, let's get across to the set. And what do we need? We better take a little bit of lemonade and our notebook. Let's, we'll go ahead and get that set part set up. Let's see what happens when we do this. Okay, we're coming up on the set. We'll be right there. All right, testing 1, 2, 3. I think that one's on. All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, we did some testing last week in the show, as you recall, with the Bird Dog PTZ keyboard over NDI, and that was a lot of fun. And learned a couple things. Andrew from Mind IT in Australia did a really great video last week where he goes through this entire setup. It's worth a read if you're looking for it. But my initial evaluation of this guy before they released the firmware update was that it wasn't quite ready for prime time. With the firmware update, I would say it's definitely usable. And it's usable with the Bird Dog cameras, it's usable with NDI cameras, and it's usable with Visca over IP cameras, including the PTZ Optics ones, which we sell. So we'll set that guy aside. And let's see, what do we got here? Hello, Otis, glad you're here. Okay. Jan had a SSD died quite fast in less than 10 months. Wow. All right. Rich said he used a waterproof case for his iPhone 10 and was able to go live on Facebook in the ocean. Huh. How about that? All right. Well, let's go live. Let's go live with this show, shall we? All right. So we'll get started. Hold your breath. Hello, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. This is a show all about live streaming and the people that do it. So you never know. Sorry, I just tickled myself. I didn't intend it to be that way. And I'm recovering from a little bit of a little cough of some kind. So I apologize for that. Interesting show today. Hope you'll stick around for it. And if you can't stick around, come on back. It'll be here when you're done, whatever you went off to do. But before we get there, a couple of reminders. First of all, big shout out to Dave and thank you. I didn't bring it over from the other set, but Dave sent me this really cool kind of a vintage Windows tablet that was set up with the Windows panel builder to mimic my X-Keys XK80 that has got my entire life on it. It's got all the show on it. So I'm looking forward to trying that. Not that I'll ever give up my X-Keys XK80 because it's got the feel, it's got the feel, it's got the keys. I've got the buttons right where I know where they are. And with the activators from vMix, I can turn the lights on and off to know kind of what's what. Anyway, but Dave, thank you. I look forward to playing with that. It's going to be fun to play with. Other notes, if you missed it last night here in the U.S., and that would have been late last night in Europe, or probably Wednesday morning in Australia, the vMix Fun Time live show was live from Australia. Martin, the CEO and main, only developer at vMix, was the host, and he brought in Tim, who was in Japan on vMix Business. Yeah, that's what it was. And so they played with some SRT and had some other good fun. If you missed it, go back and take a look. You don't get to see the whole thing. Unlike this show, where we record the pre-show, the show, and the post-show and make it all available. They just post the show. So you have to get there early for the pre-show and stay late for the post-show in order to get some of the banter and some of the bullets that don't make it their way into the show. But one of the bullets that did make its way into the show was Martin was talking a little bit about the next version of vMix. Yeah, good old vMix. vMix is the glue that holds live streaming together, I think. vMix 24 is the next one due out. It is in some phase of alpha, I would guess right now. I suspect they're playing with it internally. They haven't released a special alpha copy for me. Not likely going to happen. But they anticipate that they'll have a good, solid beta, perhaps as soon as NAB in April. And you know how these guys are. They always like to surprise you, so they may end up releasing that rascal at NAB in April. The big promise in vMix 24, of course, is the rewrite of the instant replay module, the instant replay system. Lots of requests for feature changes in that. I won't go through them all, but we expect that if it can be done, that Martin will figure out a way. I mean, just things like going from 4 to 6 or 8 cameras for replay. That's going to be a big deal. Being able to separate the A and B outputs, and being able to reorder things and lots of different things that experienced replay operators have been asking for. So we'll see. It's been fun. Here at Eastern Shore Broadcasting, we've sold quite a number of dedicated instant replay machines That is, they bought the machine it'll do live streaming and it'll do all the other things, but the customers bought it for the express purpose of replay, and pair it up with the X Keys XKE 68 joystick and jog shuttle replay controller. It makes a pretty awesome budget replay system. You're still going to drop $6 or $7 grand on it, but at least the ones coming from us are going to be in that neighborhood. But it's full bore, full tilt. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what vMix 24 looks like when it comes out. I want to give a shout out to 3 people for today's show that don't even know that they're getting shout outs, and I probably should have dropped them a note so they would say, oh, well, we wish we could have watched. But Ken, Joe, and Aaron caught my attention this week as I was preparing for the show. And it dawned on me, I don't know if you remember, we did a show last year, I think, maybe even longer ago than that. It's hard to tell, called the Golden Age of Live Streaming. That we are in the golden age of live streaming, just like the golden age of the automobile back probably in the teens and 20s, maybe even into the 30s, but definitely in the 20s, where there were 60 or 80 automobile manufacturers here in the U.S. You could open up a garage and manufacture your own car, and so I was so impressed with that, and I use that as an analogy for the age that we're in today, or a year ago, and I think we're still in it. I still think we're in that golden age. And it's almost like the 1950s here in the U.S. Was sort of the golden age of hot rodding, where people would take a 30s or 40s automobile and strip the fenders off and tweak the engine. And I mean, you couldn't go to the parts store and buy parts. You had to figure it out yourself. And so I'm really impressed. Let's see if we can get this first one up here. Yeah, I'm really impressed, for example, with Aaron, and this is good stuff. Can we take this one? Will this take work? Yeah, there you go. Aaron has built this controller, and he's used the guts of an Xbox controller, from what I can gather. And so he's wired it all up. He's put it there. He's got a T-bar unit in it. And he's created it with little piece parts from here and there, but essentially he's built it from scratch. And while some of us may whoop and holler and say, that's not how you do things, boy, you don't use a piece of wood, but yet the ingenuity of taking a $15 controller and converting it into something that's going to allow him to do things that he's not doing right now. I am so impressed for that. So Aaron, if you're watching, big shout out from me right now. He posted these pictures in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group, I think yesterday. Let me bring that lower third up again. If you're not a member of the Streaming Idiots Facebook group, you really need to be. You need to, for your sake, because there's so much cool stuff that's being shared there. Another one, let's see, what's the next one that's up? I think it's Ken's. Let's see. Yeah, it's Ken's. Here's Ken's outfit. Now, I have known, I will say known, I have known Ken on the internet for, maybe 10 years? Back in the pre days, the pre vMix days, back when you would cobble together things and make it work. And Ken was doing pretty darn good football broadcasts. And I think at one point he was using a TriCaster, and of course now he's come full circle, and he's come back to vMix, and he's built his own version of the vMix Go. It's based on a laptop, but he's got everything he needs right there. This is the inputs and outputs for audio and power and internet and probably cameras too. Yeah, see cameras in there. This is the other section. We'll have to get him to describe in more detail, but my guess is this is what the announcers are going to use to see replay and have their audio go back and forth. He's even taken a Canon G series, Vixia G series camera, mounted it on rails with monitors and power supplies and all those kinds of things. Hat tip to Rick on this one. Rick is the first one that I knew of that shared about doing the rails thing. But it just the ingenuity of putting it all together, of taking little pieces here, little pieces there, kind of like the hot rod idea, and making something that works. And like RJ was on the show with us a while back, and you may remember from the basketball show he did with us, his pegboard system, where he's got everything strapped down and pre-plugged and pre-wired. So all he has to do is pull it out, plug in a couple of power wires or something, and he's ready to go. He's getting it figured out. And let's see, we've got one more, I think. Yeah, we've got one more. And this is Joe. Joe comes to us from the UK, and what Joe has done, what you see down there in the center, I'm sorry, I can't zoom that one in, at least not from this chair, is a closed circuit TV capture card, a video capture card. And Joe has gone into the guts of this capture card, hacked it so that the capture card will now output NDI. Yeah, that's right. Now, it's a standard definition card, and he's just doing it to play right now. But the idea is that he's been able to find a way to get into the guts of the card and hack it so that it can produce an NDI output. And Joe and Ken and Aaron, hat tips to all of you for going in and creating something that's going to be useful to you, or that's going to be a tool that you can use to make something that's going to be useful to you. And that is that's kind of where I wanted to start with the show today right now. I want and another good one of this is Rich Ignacio. You may have remember a show that we did probably 3 years ago, and he showed a light bar that had 3 or 4 cameras mounted to it, and so he was able to put something up high down on the beach using a rig like that. I am so impressed by so many of you in the live streaming world that are finding a problem, seeing a problem, and creating a solution to it, and then sharing the solution with other folks so that they can do the same thing. The other thing that I see going on, and we're going to set that one aside for just a second, is that, hey, Martin's here. Oh, welcome, Steadicam. Long time no talk to. And it made me lose my whole train of thought, because all I could think about was Martin and bowling. No, but one of the things that I've observed over the last 10 years in doing live streaming is that live streaming has an appeal for people that are technology oriented, nerds, geeks, the guys that were in the AV club at school and walked, well, at least back at my school, back, when we were still riding dinosaurs, and they pushed the slide projector up and down the hallway on the rolling cart. But there was something that appealed to us in that technical nature. We were really, really interested in that. And so as live streaming came about, we got interested in that, and we began to get good at it. And then some of us began to ask the question, can we make a business out of this? It's a hobby. I might be doing it for my church. I might be doing it for my local school. I might even be getting a few dollars here or there, but is there a real business in it? Can I make a business out of it? And for, I would say, at least half of us, boom, the iron curtain dropped down right there. And it, excuse me. And for some of us, it was just a bridge too far to think about going out to try to sell somebody something. And it was just like, oh, wow, I can't do that. I can't do that. That's way out of my comfort zone. I'm much more comfortable behind the camera. I'm much more comfortable on the other end of the telephone, behind the curtain, rather than going out there and trying to be a rainmaker, trying to be a fire starter, trying to get the ball moving, shaking and moving things, meeting people, creating a buzz, making the ball move forward, all those analogies, all those cliches that we've used in the past. And a lot of us have excuse me, need more lemonade. Goodness gracious. A lot of us have fallen off the wagon at that point, fallen off the bridge. But there were folks from the other side. And here's where the connection comes in, so pay attention. There were the folks that were in business. They were in ministry. They were out in front of the people. They were good at what they are good at what they do. They are rainmakers. They are movers and shakers. They are ball rollers. Sorry about that. When you come to NAB, I'll tell you a funny story about that. And no, you don't get a prize if you remind me of that. They don't have the technical skills, though. They know what they want to do. They just don't know how to do it. And there is a possibility of a connection there between the folks on this side of the Iron Curtain and people on this side of the Iron Curtain. And I don't mean the Iron Curtain, Soviet Union. I'm talking about that Iron Curtain that is, I'm not on this side. I'm not comfortable getting out of myself to go sell something and make and help somebody understand why they want to buy it from me. And then on the other hand, somebody that's all about selling, all about the word or the ministry or the gospel or whatever it is they're about, but don't have the technical skills to do what they want to do next, to go on to this next level. And so there's a way to get you guys together, I think. I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. And I'm hoping that I can hear from folks what, is the autofocus having issues? I'm sorry about that. I meant to turn it off. Doggone it. I'll work on that. And I'll try not to move around so much. I'm hoping we can find a way to begin to bring those people together. Now, there's some of those people that easily cross both directions. They're technical people that easily cross into sales and marketing. They're marketing and sales people that easily cross into technology. But it's not everybody. And so I think we can take the ones that are strong in one area and weak in the other on both sides and find a way to put them together. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as I find those solutions, I'm going to begin to share them with you. That was leading me. Oh, as a side note, if you're still on this side, if you're the technical guy and you really would like to learn how to bridge that gap, you want to contact Scott Whitney, because Scott has done a lot of work personally and professionally in that area, not only jumping the gap himself, but learning how to jump the gap and learning how to teach other people to jump the gap. So it's if it's something that you're really, really serious about, obviously it's a professional gig. You're going to write a check to him. But if it's something that you really want to move forward on, he's a great guy to talk to about that. Has been very successful, and of course, and I'm not just giving him a kudos for this reason, but he's also the host for the Streaming Idiots meetup at NAB again this year. We did something on NAB floor last year. Hat tip to PTZ Optics for sponsoring that, and we're going to go to Scott's studio this year and have another go at the studio stuff. We'll see how that goes. My concern was it would just be so many people that it would overrun his studio, but he and I have worked that out, and I think we'll be okay with it. The other thing that I'm seeing happening in this live streaming thing, and it's both good and bad. Like anything else, there are always multiple sides to it. But there are people that are doing the things that Joe and Ken and Aaron are doing. They're crafting things, they're putting things together, they're making them work. But in Aaron's case, in Joe's case, and in Ken's case, all three of them were doing it on behalf of themselves. So if it didn't work, they were the only ones that were inconvenienced by it. If it broke, if it disconnected, if it went haywire, if smoke started coming up, it was on them, and it was okay. It was on them because they had taken that responsibility to begin with. But I do hear the story, and I'm beginning to hear it more and more frequently, of people that have either, and it comes in two different categories. Category one is that somebody needs something in the live streaming world, and so they commission somebody to help them with it. But the person they commission doesn't know anything about live streaming. They may know a lot about video. They may know a lot about computers. They may know a lot about microphones or cameras, but they don't necessarily know about live streaming. They don't know how the puzzle fits together. They don't know how the piece parts work and don't work, as the case may be. I had a email this morning from somebody that was wanting to refer me to somebody that had commissioned somebody to build a PC for them, and they spent a lot of money on it, more than they might have from us. And it just was one. It wasn't that it didn't work; it just didn't work well. So there was always one snag or one hang up or one hiccup after another, and it could never get straight. And eventually, the person on the other end said, "Hey, I built what you asked me to build. You're on your own." And that's tough. That's hard when you're relying on an expert, and suddenly the expert is not an expert as much as they said they were. Had a similar case probably about 6 weeks ago. Somebody called me and said, I need some help. I've got vMix. I've got a computer. I've got a microphone system. And I've paid these guys a bunch of money to help me, implement it for my talk show. And now I can't get a hold of these guys anymore. And they charged me a bunch of money and it doesn't work. Can you help me fix it? And it didn't take long looking under the hood of that to realize that the guys had just sold her some stuff that they read about on the internet and then got the heck out of Dodge. And they didn't have the expertise that they professed to have. And these were people that were already people in her life. She already knew them. She trusted them, obviously, but they stepped over that line between, what they were really good at and what they weren't quite as good at. And they asked somebody to pay them based on being on the other side of that line. And so it was not a good result for this person that ended up becoming my client. Another case, a church had a church member volunteered to build a computer for the church so that they could do their live streaming. Churches are always in a situation where they don't have as much money as they need to do what they need, so they always try to find ways of, not always, but a lot of times they try to find ways of doing things in a less expensive manner, let's put it that way. And so they took this person up on his offer, and he built a system, and it kind of worked okay, but it didn't do everything that everybody had hoped it would do. And he was in the position now where he was the go-to guy. He was the guru. He was the one that had put himself out there. He was trying to do something nice and help. And now he's in a position where, he's kind of being held responsible for not doing what the expectations were that he would do. And so he was kind of trapped. And we're still working in that circumstance, trying trying to help them straighten it out, trying to figure out whether they can repurpose what they already have and move forward, and that maybe we can help them tweak it a little bit, or whether they need to start with something fresh. But the problem has been, people wanting to do either something for the right reason or maybe for the wrong reason, but putting themselves out there where they don't really have the experience to fulfill what they are promising, or whether they appear to be promising. And so the more I see that, the more I get hurt for those folks that are in the jam of not getting what they expected, not getting what they paid for, but also kind of hurting for the folks that are on this side, that made promises that they couldn't keep. I'll throw this out there. If you're in a situation where you've made promises to somebody about live streaming that you couldn't keep, and you think you want to call me and say, Tom, forget about chewing me out for doing this. Can you help me? Yeah, I can help you. I mean, I can help you try to put things right. That's what we do, is try to make lemons out of lemonade, which obviously we need some more of. But also, the whole reason for this little diatribe is to say, don't call an expert, call us, or find somebody else that's an expert in the field that it's not their first rodeo. They're not practicing on you. They're not learning how to do this on you. You really don't want that. And it doesn't cost anything to talk to me or talk to anybody else for that matter, and try to gauge who knows what they know. I had somebody call me the other day, and they said, we've got an $800 budget. That's all we've got. And I said, well, there's not a whole lot I can do for you for $800, but I can point you in some directions where you can get your most bang for your buck on that. And they said, well, just give us a number of what you would work based on what their needs were. It was more than a little. And so the number that I threw out was considerably more than their $800 budget. And I knew that, this is not going to go anywhere, but at least I can give them an idea of what they might want to, if somebody else proposes that they can do what I say, that, for $800, don't go there. And as it turned out, they came back later. They were able to find this was in a ministry situation. They were able to find some donors that would help. So they ended up getting what they really needed in the end, and they get me with it. And it's going to be so much fun to partner with them in the future and to help them be able to do the things that they want to do. I feel like I'm a little bit on a soapbox here, but and I don't want to discourage anybody that wants to get into the live streaming business as somebody that helps other people do live streaming. But I would just caution you, don't promise what you hope you can deliver. Promise what you are experienced with delivering. Promise what you know that you can do, so that people can depend on it and make a good decision. And if you don't know it, just say you don't know it. There've been numerous situations where I've been in a situation where I'll said to a client, I don't know that. I'd be happy to go try to learn it if it would be helpful to you, but I can't profess myself to be an expert in it. And some would say, okay, fine, I'll find an expert. And I've had other clients that said, well, let's learn it together, because I think I'd like to have you by my side as we go through this process. And I'm always happy to do that. We got a call last week from a company that builds signs, and they're putting a signboard as a scoreboard. It's an LED signboard that'll be as a scoreboard at a minor league baseball park, and they want to incorporate a radar gun. I'm like, well, I'm not sure how to get the radar gun into vMix, but we worked it out. And I told them, I don't have expertise in this way, but I'll figure it out for you if you want me to. And they said, absolutely. So that's my soapbox for today. Yep, that's my soapbox for today. I applaud those of you that are doing new and different things, and putting yourselves at risk for your own reward. Absolutely. I admonish those of you that are, selling something that you're not good at. Don't do that anymore. That's not a good thing. It's not going to help this industry, and in the long run, it's not going to help you. And if you find yourself in a jam, having made promises that you can't keep, call me and let's see if we can't figure out a way to get you and to get your client back up on your feet again and go in the way that you need to go. You may need a partner, and I'm happy to partner with you that. John says, how do you get a radar gun into vMix? Well, the radar gun is on its way here. And, maybe we can do a show about that when I get the radar gun in. But I have a feeling that it involves RS-232. That's what it involves. And it involves a CSV file. Or is it a CVS file? Anyway, one of those files. So working on that one. And it's going to be fun. Why not put a radar gun in it? I mean, here's a good example of a radar gun. And we'll close out and go to the post show. For those of you that enjoy the Friday fuel stream from vMix, on Fridays they stream the local fuel prices from Australia. It's price per liter. So when you see $1.49, don't get excited. It's not per gallon. But they could set up a radar gun and have Radar Thursdays and, put the radar gun down on the street and have a flashing radar up on the live stream. In fact, we could do that right here. Yeah, that might be CSV. Thank you, Dave. All right. Hey, CVS is a drugstore. That's right. Oh, my goodness. And it is petrol. That's right. Petrol Fridays. And Merle's here. Welcome, Merle. Glad you're here. Missed you. So that's it. Let's, again, don't forget about the Streaming Idiots meetup at NAB on April 20th. That is Monday night, second night of NAB, because NAB starts on Sunday this year. Come see me at the vMix booth. Don't know what the booth number is yet. Oh, and we'll have some free tickets, so don't buy any tickets. Between vMix and PTZ Optics and X Keys and some others, we can get you into that show for free. So don't register for it and pay for it. Michael Graves says radar is cheating. Radar is not cheating. Radar is just information. Addison's here. Hello, Addison. Haven't seen you in a while. All right. So we'll get to the post show here in just a second. We'll close out this part. Thanks for watching. So glad you're here, and stick around for the post show. And we're back, and we're back, and we're back, and we're back. I think we'll see about hanging out here in the set. We may go to the post show over at the desk, but we'll have that. Michael Graves says, derive speed and read license plates. Oh, well, we could do that. We could do that. Yep. Addison, do you think vMix will ever integrate comments from Facebook into vMix where you can see them real time? Yeah. Yep. I mean, I don't know that you can see them as people type them that much real time, but I'm reading your comment right now, and in the time that I read it, it could have automatically come up here as a lower third. I just don't do that because I don't have a way of screening them, moderating them. So. And who knows what you guys are going to say. I don't want every comment coming up here. Addison, gee whiz. Merle, Tom, looking to upgrade my graphics card. Best one that will support vMix in your opinion. Merle, what's your budget? You know, I can give you the best one, but that doesn't mean that's your budget. Although you might say, oh, well, I'll take two at that price. Whatever you think. Give me an idea what your budget is. There's Ken. There's Ken. Thanks for the shout out. I'm happy so many people found the posting my rig useful. Well, there's Ken Ricker, and you can find him in the Streaming Idiots group, and his post showed all those pictures that I showed you just a minute ago, and you can see. All right, Merle's budget is $500. All right, Merle, yeah, you've got a lot of room to play with. You can do a NVIDIA GTX 2070 for about $400. The things you want to pay attention to as you look for the card, number one is you want to make sure the card's got the output connectors that you want. So if you've got 3 HDMI monitors, you want to get a card that's got 3 HDMI outputs, or at least understand that you may have to buy a active display port to HDMI adapter in order to get that. So definitely checking that. Second thing is to check the CUDA cores. That's C-U-D-A, CUDA, like the old Barracuda. The CUDA cores, more CUDA cores, the better. You know, I had somebody tell me this morning that they had a machine built for them, and it had this great video card, and it had 768 CUDA cores. I'm thinking, well, that's not that many CUDA cores, because vMix needs CUDA cores. That's what vMix is using, is the CUDA cores. And then the last thing to check is the RAM. Is it 1 gig, 2 gigs, 3 gigs, 6 gigs, 8 gigs, 11 gigs? For $500, you might be able to get a card with 8 gigs of RAM on it, and it would be a real horse. And then, depending on what you're doing, what you're streaming, and how you're streaming it, you want to check out the video that Dave Edwards and I did together a while back here on Streaming Idiots, where we talked about how to unlock that card so that you could get more than 2 encoders out of it at the same time. So there you go. All right, let's see. Rich and Ken are exchanging pats on the back. Rich says, don't forget you need to upgrade the power supply for a new video card monster. That's possible. Sure is possible. Generally, the PCs that we build, we're building a power supply that has about 40%, 50 to 40% available. Because one of the things that happens is power supplies, as they age, they just aren't as powerful. And if they drop below the level, if you've got a 600 watt power supply and you're using 550 watts and it gets 10% older, then suddenly things stop working. But if it's a 750 or 1,000 watt, whatever, then you've got a lot of headroom there. Let's see. 1080 Ti, says Otis. There you go. Newsfan 77, I'm looking for a new graphics card too, but I've heard a lot of complaints about coil whine. Well, the coils, they only whine if you don't feed them and take them out regularly. No, I've never heard any complaints about coil whine. It's just maybe I'm not as happy. I'm not as paying attention. All right, Dave Edwards wants to be on the show next week and do a demo of the WSN TV, which is an add-on to vMix that turns vMix into a TV station. It's something that Giles Warham and Dave and others have worked on for a while that is just about ready for prime time, and a way of turning vMix into a play-out server. Yeah, you'll want to tune in for that one. Let's do that next week, Dave. That's a great idea. Addison, is there any way to see the comments being done on your Facebook live stream instead of inside your vMix interface? Addison, have you looked at vMix Social? I mean, are you thinking this is just not something that's happening, or because vMix Social will populate a web page with your comments in practically real time. John is saying, I wonder if vMix can make use of multiple GPUs, i.e. one for internal processing, one for encoding. John, I've asked Martin that same question, and the answer, and it's been probably a year or more since I asked it, and the answer was no. that it confuses vMix if there's more than one. And so we've actually had some folks come to us with some machines that they needed some help tweaking, some built by expert machines that had, they were probably built by gamers. And they say, okay, well, you want as many video cards as you can cram in there, right? And no, with vMix, you don't want as many as you can cram in there. No, you just want the one, but you want it to be as big and as bad as it possibly can be. Yes, Addison, vMix Social. It's free. It comes with vMix. It's a great little tool. I'm using it right now to see your comments. I'm capturing a web page that has all the comments in it, and I'm bringing it into vMix as an input, and I'm putting it up there in my multi-view so that I can see it. Yeah. All right, Ed said he's very interested in the playout solution. Looking forward to seeing that next week. Okay, Dave, now you're committed. Tommy says, I saw a YouTube video about OBS and dual GPU cards not working correctly. There you go. I think it adds a level of complexity that even if somebody gets working, how long will it work for? Vital says, Tom, the next time you go shopping and there's a long line at the checkout, just cough like that and say, man, this cough's gotten really bad since, and that's all the comment that I see, but since I got back from China, yeah, that'll clear out the line. Oh my goodness. Taekwondo Replay says the video from Epochs. Not sure what that is. Help me out there. Hassan says, I did that vMix into a TV station. All right. Taekwondo says, no, multiple GPU is not working. Right. Merle, how do you capture comments with social and update a website? Do you have a video explaining? Do I have a video explaining? Merle, I think the vMix guys did a fairly recent YouTube video on vMix Social. And one of the things that vMix Social does is that it will go out to Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and other places and grab the comments and bring them back in and can populate lower thirds with them. But it will also allow you to populate a web page, and the web page is it's a local page. It's not like on your website or anything like that. In this case, it's just an IP address with a slash or a colon, I think 8089 at the end of it. And it combines all that so that I can see it. Todd says, does anyone wish vMix's audio follow feature would get more refined? I'd like to see it go away, Todd. I think it makes it for new users very difficult to work with. They're just like, wow, all of a sudden the audio went away. Vital says, I know I'm not being very helpful today. Is today a different day? You're like, whoa, hold on a second here. Rich says, I don't hear much road noise. Did you do something special to your studio? No, it's just a quiet day. I also have the Waves Audio NS1 filter going, and I think it's about 25 or 30%, but there's not a lot of road traffic today. No. Tommy says, Rich, you're right. Very quiet. He may have put up a roadblock during the show. Yeah, we haven't had any. There's a truck right there. Sometimes the comments are coming faster than my little screen will show them. So I apologize if I skipped over something. Vital, I'm just teasing you. Okay, gee whiz. Yeah, there you go. All right. Hassan said, also, I did you a new surprising design. You should be able to use it next live, I hope. Okay, good. Look forward to seeing that. Dual GPU, oops, that's right. Rich says we can't hear it. Well, it wasn't very loud. It wasn't very loud. So that's good. That's good. I'm glad you can't hear the truck. You hear that one? Yeah, and we haven't had any diesels today. So Vital says he can hear it. The next time I'll do that, it'll be dead quiet, and I'll say, can you hear that? And he'll say, oh, yeah, I heard that. No, just teasing. But yeah, road noise is tough. Air conditioning noise, plumbing noises, kind of, like an intermittent flush from upstairs. Sometimes those can be hard to get. The easier noises are the ones that are there all the time. Had a call from somebody the other day. They just gotten a new mixer, and all of a sudden they were getting a hum. It's probably a ground loop. If you get a hum, kind of an electronic hum, it's probably a ground loop. Invest in a $25 ground loop isolator before you do anything else. I would do that first. Todd's like, what truck are you talking about? That's right. Oh, Tommy says, I can hear it because I'm using headphones. Well, that's true. Tommy, can you hear the PC noise in the background? Rich says, whatever you did, it's working to dull out the road noise. Well, that's good. Actually, I've got quite a few things going. One is I've got a lot of furniture in here now. And so I think that's kind of helping to absorb some of the noise, my reflection noise as well as noise from outside. I've also got some stuff stored here that I want to make use of eventually that includes some rolls of carpet padding and some rolls of carpet. And I've placed them in front of the window. I haven't done anything in front of the door like that, but I do have, I can't, well, I can show you. Yeah, I've got a little guy here. Let's see, we want to go this, let's zoom out. Ta-da! And let's go around. Oops, wrong way. And you can see there's the door, there's the street, and you can see shutters on either side. And the shutters on either side are kind of accordion style, 3 shutters connected with hinges, one set on the left, one set on the right. And they each have moving blankets, tri-folded and stapled to them to try to absorb some of the road noise as it comes in. So that's why perhaps it's as good as it is. All right, let's see. River of Life, ground loop isolators are gold, indeed. Yep. Tommy says, I've discovered my ATR 2100 has volume problems. Tommy, is it not getting a lot of volume? I've got 2 Audio-Technica ATR 2100s at the school studio here, and we can't seem to get them at the same level. The mics have a little volume bar at the bottom that you can turn the volume up on the mic, and then of course you've got lots of different devices in the path where you would want to get them turned up as well. Everything is very quiet today. Wix, and I was wondering when we will see all the 50 inputs. Well, this right here is it's a backdrop, which is a video. It's me, which is 1, which is 2. Lower third, which is 3, but the lower third is in 3 parts, so that's 4, 5. And then there might be this shot with a guest, so the guest is going to be 6. The lower thirds underneath us is 7. The backdrop here that's moving is 8. So you can see it doesn't take long. Here's the pre-show. So there's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's the post-show. So that's 14, 15. The sound effect are 20. I've got 3 mic buttons, so that's 23. I've got 8 keys dedicated to my top 8, whatever they are, inputs. So here's input number 1, here's input number 2, input number 3, which is the guest, input number 4, which happens to be pre-show right now, 5 happens to be my work area, 6 is the clock, 7 is the raw camera feed from the deck link, and 8 happens to be my microphone, so you can't see that. And then other microphones. It doesn't take long to get up to 50. It just depends. And the this is what I see right there. I have an echo. Yeah, sorry about that. This is what I see in my my multi-view in the preview window. So I'm seeing it right over there, and then of course I'm seeing myself here, and then I'm seeing 8 more inputs right below me right there. I can't show you the multi-view at the moment. And occasion I must have hit, oh, I know what happened. I hit something that turned on the desktop mic, which is over there, and then I've got the boom mic right here. And you fixed it. Yeah, there's a button on the X keys that does that. Right there where it says desktop mic. Turns it off and on, and then the big banana button right here is this mic right here. And now it's back on. But it's a big button, so I can use it if I have to cough. So it's an easy one to find. So yeah, it doesn't take long to get to 50. And I remember, starting out with that other software way back when, you couldn't get more than 10 or 12 before you ran into problems. Now, I've had some where I've had 80 or 90. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah, sorry if I missed some of your comments. They were kind of rolling through kind of quickly. As you can see right here, I can see, let's see, 2, 4, 5 comments at a time, and then you can see there's somebody with a comment that just drops off the bottom right there. And then when the next one comes down, there it is. So Wixton is asking, what's up with the dog? You're talking about Rooney right here. Rooney is the official mascot for Eastern Shore Broadcasting. And he has been recognized and welcomed in, well, he's a provisional member of the Streaming Mascots Alliance, which is a very exclusive group of mascots all across the world. The vMix Banana, Dan Sinclair is in there. The Bird Dog is in there. The Hedgehog from PI Engineering is in there. I don't know that PTZ Optics has one yet, but yeah, it's you got to work hard to get there. Rich says that's so awesome with the X keys, just to make sure to back up your shortcuts and tally configs. You're right about that. We did a show on that a little while back. Hassan says, Tom, I did vMix TV as a playout for a real TV station. I can provide you a link to see. Love to see it. Tommy says, Rooney is NDI compatible. Well, actually, Rooney was the wearer of the NDI leash, which made him NDI compatible. That was the that was the what do you call that? It wasn't a spoof. It was a satire. That's what it was. That was the satire we did on Panasonic when they announced that their camera was NDI compatible. It was like, it's not NDI compatible. They were connecting it to a port and then, doing something to make that port NDI so they could say their camera was NDI. It wasn't. So we came up with NDI leash that made the Jack Russell NDI compatible. Yeah. Rich says it's made doing a show more easier by at least 30% or more or less work for a sole producer. Absolutely. And the nice thing about vMix is it doesn't take long to make some updates. I mean, I updated 1, 2, 3. I changed 3 shortcuts on this board before the show so that I could show you guys the slideshow of all the pictures. And then every time I add inputs, if I want them to be available on my keyboard here in these blue buttons right there, I just make sure that that whatever I want available on keys 1 through 8 is in inputs 1 through 8. And so these keys right here, again, the numbered keys right there, they will cut to whatever is input number 1 or input number 2 and input number 3. And so as I shuffle inputs, sometimes I'll take input number 20 and I'll slide it up to input number 4 position, and then it becomes number 4 on this list. So yeah, Wixton says, "Oh, sorry, I feel like a noob." No, Wixton, you don't feel like a noob. You feel like an idiot. I get that. Tommy says, PTZ Optics has a silhouette of a pregnant woman. That's right. Tess is pregnant and she's due at NAB, so she won't be there. We'll miss her. But that's definitely the cool stuff. Jan says, try StreamStar. Now that's some software that will use all your CPU. It will hog all your resources with just 6 inputs. Yeah, good old StreamStar. Yep. They're still kicking around. I think they're still trying. But that's okay. You know, it's a free world. Well, at least some of it. It's a free country here. At least some of it. So Dave says, idiot is the preferred term. Noob, not so much. That's right. And, you know, it's fun because people are really kind of embracing that. And here's the thing. It takes the pressure off. If you're an idiot, well, then of course you're going to screw up. But you can also be a good fixer. You know, you can be a genius. And that's how geniuses start out, I think, is they start out as idiots. And they lose. They learn. Tommy says, congrats to Tess. I remember her win. Well, this will be her second. She's got a cute little boy. And I think this is going to be a little girl. I know they did a gender reveal. It was like a smoke bomb inside something or something. I think it was pink smoke. Anyway, but yes, congratulations to Tess. She's a good mom. It's an important job. It sure is. No doubt about it. Wixton says, have too many kids using the newbie turn. For the Fortnite players. Well, it's a generational thing. And sometimes it can be used as a term of endearment, and sometimes it can be used as a demeaning term. Here in this area, if somebody calls you an idiot, I think it's a compliment. Yep, I think it's a compliment. So we've tried to craft the concept of idiot so that it was okay to be an idiot, because being an idiot means that you're making mistakes, but that you're learning and you're getting better. And it's sort of a progress kind of thing. So, yeah, that's what I like about it. And, you know, we stole a term from, there's a financial advisor named Dave Ramsey here in the U.S., and he talks about mistakes that you make with your finances when you're younger that cost you money is a stupid tax. It's a stupid tax. It's a tax on you for being so stupid. Of course you lost money because you were stupid. And I prefer to reframe that a little bit and say it might be a stupid tax, but it's also a learning tax. It's part of the cost of your education. And it's okay to be educated, because, you know, you had to start where you were. So there you go. Daniel says, if you're not an idiot, you haven't learned from your mistakes yet. That's right. Rich says, when is the meetup at NAB again? Monday or Tuesday? It is the second night of NAB, Rich. It has always been the second night of NAB. In this case, it's going to be Monday because NAB this year starts on a Sunday. So it's, you know, it may not always be, it may not always be on Monday night, but it'll always, I think as long as we can, we'll have it on the second night. I mean, that's a good time. The first night is a little soon. The third night, people's energies are beginning to wane. The fourth night, you know, everybody's ready to go home. So second night is a good one. Some of the major manufacturers will have theirs on the Saturday night or the Friday night before the show starts, and typically that's for their dealers or resellers or other kind of business related people that would come in early in order to maybe take some classes or go to some of the parts of NAB. Actually, NAB has a whole nother life besides just the trade show. Merle says, I'm a graduate of Financial Peace. Yes, Financial Peace University. That's right, Dave Ramsey. That's good stuff. If you know a young married couple or a couple that's about to get married, that's a great gift to them. I think it's a 12-week course on how to do your finances, and it's a great way to get started in your life together. Tommy says, I don't have any money, so Dave Ramsey is no use to me. Tommy, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Vital said, someone's blowing you up on Facebook. Yeah, that would be the bell you hear in the background. Rich says, are there any celebrities coming this year to the meetup? Well, are you going to be there? Is Dave going to be there? Is Kenny going to be there? Is Ken going to be there? Is, we can go down the list of all the celebrities. But you mean real celebrities like rock stars and stuff? I don't have a clue. But yeah, actually, Martin Sinclair was there last year. That's the first time he'd ever been to a Streaming Idiots meetup. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. Brian says, do you have any of the NAB seminars that you recommend? Brian, I haven't looked at this year's offering. And I think one year I probably will actually go to one of those because I think it would be a lot of fun. What I have enjoyed doing is going a little early because typically there will be a couple of Broadcast Beat is involved a lot of times doing a live stream during the course of NAB, and they will, excuse me, the cough button also works for sneezes. Anyway, Broadcast Beat will set up a set and have a full-blown production there, multi-camera production with a stage, and do various interviews and talk shows and things like that. It also works as a yawn button. And I have been invited the last couple of years to come be on a panel with some of those and have again this year. I'm not sure when it's going to be, but those are a lot of fun to meet the other panelists and hear what they're doing, and then to meet folks that are there physically in the audience because there's a setup of maybe 100 chairs. And talk with them and see what they're up to. And then, of course, the folks that are watching the live stream, both live and on demand later. So there's Eric. Welcome. Glad you're here. We'll start over. Eric, we're in post show now. So it is it's not you, it's me. It's Tommy says you need some sleep. Actually, I'm in pretty good shape, but I just get middle of the afternoon, So I have to watch myself. That's right, Vital, I have to watch myself. All right, Dave says that comedian Jim Gaffigan is opening the show on Sunday evening as the keynote speaker. Huh, never heard of him. Actually, my wife Sandy is going to go with me this year to Las Vegas for the NAB show. And we're actually thinking that it would be a lot of fun to go out one evening to a Las Vegas show. So if somebody's got any suggestions or would like to go, let's do it. It'd be a lot of fun. Can't be Monday. All right, Wixton says one would think it's 2210 over at Tom's place. 2210. Oh, that would be time in 24 hours. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little slow on the uptake. No, it's 1510. 1510. Dave says, see the Beatles love. Ah, okay. There's a good suggestion. Good suggestion. Thank you. Yes, no, the Streaming Idiots meetup will be April 20th, 7 o'clock, I think, 7 o'clock at Scott Whitney's studio. But we'll have more info late. Gunner's here. Welcome. Glad you could make it. Glad you could make it. Vital says it's 10:10 for him. And Tommy says Jim Gaffigan was not a Beatle. There you go. Chris Morton says date today is 220 in New Zealand. Really? Interesting. Well, it'll probably be my date tomorrow. All right, Dave says Jim Gaffigan is the Hot Pockets guy, among other things. He opened for the Pope in New York City. The Hot Pockets guy. All right. Firestorm, that's Fatale says, no, sir, 2010 equals 1010. Tommy said, the Pope as an opening act, I need to get out more. You guys are funny. I'm just going to sit here and read and laugh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I see. Chris says it's 2020 0220. All right. Otis, Tom will behave this year. Yeah, I behave every year. I behave every year. I know you're watching. How's your wife? Didn't she win something at the Streaming Idiots meetup a couple of years ago? She won a book. Did she ever let you read that? Yeah, that's right. Sinbad does attend NAB. I think he was by the PTZ Optics booth a couple of years ago. Do you hear that? Do you hear that buzz? That's what happens when you don't put your phone on silent and you leave it on vibrate by accident. Dave only keeps up with comedians. There you go. Michael Graves says that misbehaving is a form of behaving. It's a form of behavior. I don't know that it's behaving, but we'll see. That was my phone. That's right. It was the phone. It was ringing. It was buzzing. But you can't hear the traffic. How about that? Go figure. Go figure. I like the shutter idea because I think the shutters help deflect the sound so that it doesn't bounce right back. So it does kind of, I've got another set of shutters over here. So I've got 3 sets of shutters in here intended to help me with that. And then, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 moving blankets hanging around here that help a bunch. And they help kill the noise from the street as well as the reflection. Oh, sorry, there's 9. And then this is a tile floor, sheetrock walls, and then a acoustical tile ceiling. And I've got a little bit of carpet right underneath me right here that helps a lot. The room is not carpeted, but it's a hard tile floor. And when I first moved in here, it was just ping everywhere. It was an echo. It was horrible. Yep. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up here, unless you've got something else I can chuckle about. But I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come hang out with me and talk about all things live streaming. And don't forget, next week, we'll have Dave Edwards on when we'll be talking about the vMix playout system that Giles Warm, among others, has developed. So we will have that on. That's going to be a lot of fun. And it will be worth a replay probably as well. So I'm going to let you guys go out to a little theme music. if I can find it on here. Probably not. I'll have to go do it from up there. But I will catch you guys on the flip side. Thank you. Kenny says, U-Haul movers would like you to return those. Actually, tip on moving blankets. There is a size, a 98 incher that will go from ceiling to floor almost in a 10-foot ceiling. So I've got some hanging from the ceiling that actually are partitioning this giant room into 2 different rooms. And the only place I've been able to find those consistently has been at Northern Tool here in the U.S., Northern Tool. And it's I think, no, it's got to be longer than 98. Because 10 feet would be 120. Maybe it's 108. Maybe it's 110. Anyway, it's an odd size, and Northern Tool has got them. So if you've got a 10-foot wall or a 9-foot wall that you have to take care of, that'll be the ticket. So I'm not taking mine back. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time. Now, how do we get out of this thing? How about this? That didn't work. We'll have to work on that one. Y'all take care.